Thank you so much. I've always loved a withholding man. So. I'm really excited to present to you our next reader. I met her a year ago at AIPF, and her and Wade, that seems like a very long time ago. And I think I had this idea in my head that all poets were like me, because I was kind of living in my own little poet corner of the universe. And they both proved that wrong. She just opened her arms so wide and took me in, and she's just one of the best people I know. One of the kindest people I know. And she just got in from the DFW, just pulled up as we started the reading, so I'm sort of irritated that I have to share her with you right now. I just want to take her and go hang out with her. I'll read her bio because it's cute and that's my job. Fatima Hirsi writes in purple ink. She teaches poetry in schools, shelters, and community centers as an educator for the Writers Garret. She's appeared in various stage productions across Texas, and her work can be read in Vagabond, Stress Code, and the anthology poem Your Heart Out. Sometimes she writes poems to the trees. So happy to present her to you. Please help me welcome Fatima Hirsi.
Hi, I'm Fatima. All right, I'm gonna start off with the hardest thing to read. You guys are gonna get to know me really well right now. This is called Truth and Honesty. Honestly, Mindy Kaling, 7 Glasses of Wine. Global warming is a real thing. My neighbor thinks liberals made it up to get money from solar panel companies, but what about conservatives who want to deny it just to get rich raping the earth? I want to have a natural birth one day. Starting around 5, I'd imagine life if my mom died, and I'd start crying and be inconsolable by all my stuffed animals. I never told her this until I was 26, and it wasn't until then that she realized just how much I love her. Being the oldest of 5 means I hated kids until the last few years. Now, the baby in the grocery store line makes me sob with his smile, and I need to excuse myself and go to the car to not cause a scene. God has jokes. Oh, how I covet. My man says when I drink, I get very honest. He is very honest without the alcohol. Before tonight, I hadn't written for myself in 55 days. I don't get writer's block. I get lazy. I have forgotten at least 75 pieces of poems since October. I can be very lazy about life, especially concerning opening mail, reading email, listening to voicemail, remembering to reply outside my head, washing clothes, washing my body, maintaining friendships. I really hate when people call me nice. I'm excellent at communicating face to face. I require very little human interaction. My love transcends time and space and silence. We pick up where we left off, and then we know it's real. I believe in lifetimes of loving. My woman cave is draped in black curtains and fills me up more than the bustling world. Quiet makes me whole. I used to meditate and then I stopped because God became too loud. When I give everything. When I stop all the way. As a child, I heard singing everywhere, at home, in school, while riding my bike. My mom called them angels. After I saw the movie A Beautiful Mind, I thought I was schizophrenic. Then I decided I was just gifted. I'm sure lots of schizophrenic people think they're gifted. There is no joke here. I'm not a fan of metaphor. Just say it. Everyone has limits on what they can take when they are giving. I think it's ironic when people raise their hands up at me in exasperation because I don't know the name of some movie or actor or musician. I should know him. Look of pity, tisk of lips. That disbelief as though you just tried to explain white privilege and realize someone just won't understand, like a piece of Will Smith's youth out minus the comedy. All tragedy, all rage almighty, that face you make when I say I hate avocados and Wes Anderson movies been made 1,000 times before. I'm already tired of this conversation. When someone's cash register is not working, your purchase is not free, your joke is not funny, you are not attractive or cute. Did you know one of my favorite words is fuck? Lately, I curse a lot in my head and there's a U at the end of retail. In the beginning, I loved people. Now they're meaner and stupider every year. No lie. We could take them into a lab and do regular neurological scans and compile scientific evidence that most of the human race is diminishing in brain function and empathy. Or maybe that's just here. 8th graders in American public schools are at a 4th grade reading level. They don't stand a chance. And I want to be a teacher. Call me crazy. I wish names could get stuck in my head as permanently as terrible top 40. Somehow, I remember the names in classes where children wrote poems with me. Bossy Bobby, Sassy Sedalia, Money-Making Mark Quentin. They chose their names. I chose mine. My mother said I came to her as a spirit before starting this life. She said I told her what to name me. She said I told her to teach me. I watched my mother dance in the park when I was a child. She taught me well. In Pennsylvania, I danced naked in the snow and didn't feel the cold. In Texas, if it falls below 65 degrees, I need a sweater. Love is complex. Once, I was unas de las chicas locas. Ask me how I learned to walk in heels. There's more. A broken heart is a powerful thing. What rhymes with more? After my first ex wrapped his fingers around my neck and pushed me into the wall and made my face all kinds of shades of interesting, I became a new person. I forgot her name. I've tried so hard to remember it over the years, but I think it's been blacked out. It was probably some kind of flower. After that, I started wearing a flower in my hair every day as a reminder and a joke to those who don't know. They like to call me sweet and innocent. I have no tolerance for those who judge the broken. When I was little, I had a jasmine plant. I read to it and sang to it, and it grew tall and spread wide. My evil stepdad chopped it up with his machete out of spite. I know my name wasn't Jasmine. I'm so bad with names, in one ear, out the other. I read a comedian's book whose name I'd know any time but right now, and she said this whole tirade about people who say they can't remember names. She called them lazy jerks. I really do wish I could remember better. How is it that I remember the clothes someone was wearing years ago when we met? This one, so I'm not from here, and you guys have all these cool places everywhere, and we don't have this stuff even in Dallas. And so there's this African club called Sahara Lounge, you guys. Yeah, so I went there for the first time on one of my visits, and it was just so much fun. So this is called Sahara Lounge. Once, we danced on tables. It was our first night together. Drums filling the night outside, 3 bodies full of poetry, full of drink and smoke. The woman spoke of the man, how sad that he had a woman, how sad that she was not here to see him in all his glory. His smile and his body moving with the music, his words on the page. How beautiful, the red lipstick, the eager laugh, the easiness of the women who became instant sisters of the sun and moon and pen. How beautiful, the 3 friends who danced as if from the same womb. So I'm on a Pantoum kick right now because of him. So we're writing this collab Pantoum together, and I thought I'd practice, so this is my practice. This is called Brief Psychotic Disorder. Pianos hang in the air like specks of dust, float stiff as a board, light as a feather over my head, just out of reach again, float stiff as a board, light as a feather, all those shadows leaving homes on the wall, out of reach again, but close enough to be menacing, all those shadows leaving homes on the wall, growing faces that move and stretch so close. It's fucking menacing, not right, this heaviness inside, growing faces that move and stretch, change colors, and oh dear God, the quiet. This is not how it should be, always changing colors. And oh dear God, the quiet. Christmas Eve should be full of songs. This is not how it should be, all these pianos in the air like specks of dust. So here's another pin tune. Or I'm gonna skip that. So Dinez Smith has this book out called Insert Boy, and one of his poems is called The Black Boy and the Bullet. And I'd never seen anything like this before, where you take two things and make them into one. So I'm gonna read that, and then I'm gonna read what I wrote from that. One is hard and the other tried to be. One is fast and the other was faster. One is loud and one is a song with one note and endless rest. One's whole life is a flash. Both spend their life trying to find a warmth to call home. Both spark quite the debate. Some folks want to protect them. Some think we should just get rid of the damn things altogether. So this is called Mothers of Black Boys and Orcas, or Where the Wild Things Die. Found in all oceans, each sea, each piece of land, they mature in their teens, birth slick bodies, and let milk go from breast to mouths for 2 winters, 2 summers, 2 falls, 2 springs. Their matrilineal family groups are more stable than any other species. A creature who can live to be 90 has time to raise 5 calves into large bowls of men, until some monster arrives with white skin, fast words, tools that make apex predators ghost, net in water, harpoon through heart. The gun aims and metal makes its way to muscle. The mothers mourn, follow boat that carries babies, singing songs of grief. Clicks, whistles, pulse calls roll over the deep, or else phone rings and familiar voice is now a phantom, sounds strange, heavy with a weight that will not betray the scope of pain. The voice says only to come. The news will paint their young men as evil, killer. Look at those terrible teeth, rolling their terrible eyes and showing their terrible claws. They did this and did that, and so you see the whalers were just doing their jobs. Capture the young and lock them in. Kill the men as though they are flies. Do not consider tomorrow and 10 years from now. The mothers still cry each night. And I wrote that after Tony Robinson was killed. And Wade helped me make it more pretty, because it wasn't pretty before. And I have daddy poems. Yes. This is called Refusing Minnesota. My father wants me to be cold, alone, all his. He wants a view of snow to greet me at sunrise and sunset. He wants me to forget I was ever in love, as though loving someone is a movie you can decide not to watch. In 64 years, he was never taught how to kiss a woman, how to go slow. My mother says after she miscarried, he did not know how to hold her. He did not know she was like glass breaking. He asked her if she wanted to go home, gave her the keys, did not look back before taking the hand of another woman, dancing, laughing like his wife was not bleeding through her dress. My father wants me to forget I am in love, as though he knows it is easy. How easy it is to forget, to see for someone who has always been blind. And I think one more. Do you guys want the Slaughterhouse poem, the Grey's Anatomy poem, or the Big Lebowski poem?
Big Lebowski.
You might not like this one, because it's called Hating the Big Lebowski.
Oh.
Everything good, right? Avocados, Miss Anderson, Big Lebowski. Sir, if you don't calm down, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. No one ever listens to Sandra, especially not large men intent on shouting about First Amendment rights. John Goodman is at his finest, or maybe that was in Roseanne. Or actually, I'm pretty sure it was in the Flintstones when he was Fred, and little girl me thought that was how life would be when I grew up and got grown and got my very own caveman. Leopard print dress, big hair, pearls. My view of perfect world dependent on images living inside screen. Funny jokes and laugh tracks and pretty women, images of present, future coming out of past. I grew up and stopped being a Flintstone kid. My vitamins became hard like the men I loved. They forgot I was a soft thing, either because of genes containing quiet daddy's rage or because I asked, begged, cried to feel the pain of large hands and control. Wilma never needed to know the words for please, stop, don't stop, all those cartoons, bright departures from the truth. A woman is more than her pearls.